The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says Israeli attacks have killed more than 100 Palestinians in the last day. Negotiators in Qatar say ceasefire talks have stalled, while the United Nations says Gaza's second biggest hospital is no longer functioning. Meanwhile, Israel is refusing to call off a planned offensive against the southern city of Rafah.
Airstrikes across Gaza as Israel pursues what its Prime Minister has called total victory. The aftermath is familiar by now. Homes, schools and hospitals destroyed as the death toll keeps climbing.
They are all civilians. There are no military personnel or anything. We send our message to the world, and our message to the Israeli government and the Hamas government in Gaza is please stop the war. Enough war.
Fighting has extended to raids on multiple hospitals, aggravating the already dire humanitarian situation. A doctor at Nasser Hospital in the city of Khan Yunis described the moment he realised an Israeli army raid was happening.
It was like chaos, everybody running there and there. So I realised that it is invasion of IDF, as I started hearing some dogs at the hospital yards, and actually, yeah, they destroyed the back wall of the hospital and released their dogs.
But Israel says the hospitals are legitimate targets because Hamas allegedly operates within them. Israel now claims to have the upper hand.
There are, in fact, 200 militants that surrendered at Nasser Hospital, and before that, dozens more had surrendered at Al Amal. This shows that the enemy have lost their fighting spirit. That is the main thing.
Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is defying international pressure, including from Israel's key backer, the US, to call off a planned offensive against Rafah near the Egyptian border. More than 1 million Palestinians are sheltering from the fighting there and have nowhere else to go.
Journalist Hassan Balusha spent the first months of the war reporting from Gaza. He joins us from Amman in Jordan. Bring us up to date on Israel's operations.
Mainly since last night, the Israeli strikes concentrated on the central area of the Gaza Strip in different places. Dozens or several targets took place since last night and during the day. Mainly in the cities of Deir el-Balah, Nusayrat refugee camp and Zawaida. Dozens reported killed. It's not easy to count the number, as there's coming from Gaza Ministry of Health that total in the last 24 hours, not limited to the central area, but the whole Gaza Strip, over 100 were killed. Meantime, that there were some targets reported from the north in Gaza City and in Jabalia refugee camp. Along with that, it's going the ground invasion very intense in the Khan Yunis southern Gaza Strip.
What more can you tell us about the patients and staff said to be trapped inside Gaza's second largest hospital following a raid?
Yeah, according to the Minister of Health in Gaza, said that Israeli troops entered the hospital since Thursday. Actually, they asked the people in whether patients or displaced people who refuge at the hospital from Wednesday to evacuate. Everybody who was able to walk has to go out. And the hugest number left the hospital on that day, went to Rafah, southern far of the Gaza Strip. Since then, the Israeli army and the troops are searching the hospital. According to the Ministry of Health today, that's saying about 70 people from the medical staff were arrested, and they put the whole people who remains in the hospital in one building. At least 8 patients died who from the ICU area because there is no electricity for the third day in a row. 3 women gave birth in very difficult situation inside the hospital. All of that according to the Ministry of Health in Gaza.
You heard it from journalist Hassan Balusha. Thank you very much.